Hey, we got Jorge in the building. We got Ty through category 5 in the background. Mr. Dennis King himself should be in the building as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all of the good people. Hey, man, let's just start this thing off the proper way. The Scene, THE_scene on YouTube. No, that's not YouTube. That is Twitch. On YouTube is THESCEN. That is on YouTube. Again, SCEN, all capital letters on Facebook. And also make sure you guys tune in to the Twitter. That is scene_the. And of course, Instagram, the.scene. Now, we have the dish tonight. We'll give all the dish pleasantries at the end. But we got a jam-packed show for you guys tonight. We got a very, very interesting topic we're going to talk about. But we're going to kick it off at the top with replay. Why? Because this is the very, very controversial thing. One of our guys, Trav, his Braves lost a very, very controversial decision last week, and we want to be able to bring this to the forefront. So, Jorge, let's start with you. What is the biggest thing that you have noticed that has been a flaw with the replay rule?
Why even have a replay if you're not going to get the call right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's an adjustment for baseball having a replay, first of all, like it was for the NFL when it first came out. But unlike the NFL, baseball is horrible like this. Not only that, but secondly, when they make the call, you have no idea what kind of call they're making or what they're replaying, really, because there is no ump on the diamond with a microphone to talk to the crowd. So sometimes the crowd is left out of it. For instance, there's a lot of plays where they check the slide going into second base, and they don't let the crowd know. They point, they say out, and everybody's left like in limbo as far as what's going on. Is it the end of the inning? How many outs are there? So that needs to be fixed, man. That definitely needs to be fixed. But more importantly, I mean, like you said, you touched on, how about that game, Phillies and Braves, when Didi hit a fly ball to left to Ozuna. Ozuna caught the ball and Bohm tagged up from third. He's on the Phillies, and it was the top of the ninth. And he ran basically around the catcher, slid around the catcher. His home plate was here. His foot slid, came up, and then went across the plate. It looked like he didn't even touch it, and they called him safe. And that was a huge play because that was the game-winning run. They replayed it, and they didn't have enough evidence to overturn it, but I don't think they had enough evidence to leave it as a run scored. And at that point, when the player gets off the field and he didn't touch home plate, he's out. So I don't think he should have been called safe. And that's, if you're looking back at that and the Braves lose the NL East to whoever by one game, that's the one game that you're going to be looking back on. You're going to be like, what the hell? So
Absolutely.
They got to get that right.
Absolutely. And we're going to bring in Ty as well, because Ty is another person who's an advocate for this as well. But Ty, what are some of your thoughts on this whole process as well?
So I have to keep it 100. As much as I respected this manager, what he said post replay gate, as I guess we're going to call it.
Oh, Joe Lord.
There we go.
Said, baseball's doing his job, or the umpire is doing his job. Of course, you're going to say that if it favors your team. Like, the replay system is doing his job because it benefited you. Like, be honest. Come on. Like, when you look at the video and everybody looked at the video, there was so much uproar because everybody looked at the video and it was definitive that he missed the plate. Now, on a bang-bang play like that, when you're there, it can be difficult. Nobody's saying that it's an easy job being an umpire. But at the point of the replay, and I'm going to call out the NBA because I feel like they do well at addressing the replay then and there in the game, as well as after the game with their statements. Own up to it, MLB. If you got it wrong, admit it. So that's what I, first want to point out there. Second, you could tell that it was going to be close. When it's close like that, it's okay to consult other umpires. Like, you don't have to make the call by yourself, home plate ump. There are other views. If you're not sure, use the replay as an opportunity to discuss with your peers of what you think, just like how the NBA and NFL does it. But for whatever reason, ego, pride, nobody wants to be that guy that says, I can't do the job or I can't, make a call. And I get it, but humble yourself if you aren't sure, because that was trash. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. And also, Cat 5, man, 5 said he wanted listen, anytime Cat 5 says, he hit me up and says, hey, I got something I want to say about something, I got to let him go on this. So 5, man, what were your thoughts?
Man, I'm really just gonna build on kind of echo what these guys said and build on it a little bit. The replay has been absolutely trash so far this season. That's not the only crucial play they've gotten wrong, and they keep whining about and changing rules about speeding the game up, but they're gonna take 5 minutes to get a call wrong. I mean, come on. Jesse Winker, like a week ago, hit a home run. This was the beginning of the game. It was the first pitch, but it looked in real time like a home run. And in the replay, you can clearly see the ball hit a chair. But they called it a double, and he didn't score, and the Reds lost by 1. Now, there's no excuses for losing that game. It was the first batter, but still. If it's gonna change the course, if it's gonna change the course of games for the worse, and not correct bad calls and make the game take longer, then it just needs to
go. Yeah,
I agree. Let me tell you something. This is just to wrap this up a little bit before we go back around the horn, just in case anybody else wants to say something. I got to be honest with y'all. I thought the point of the replay was to get it right. I thought that was the whole point. I thought the whole point was to give us an alternative perspective to a play, to be able to not only get the play right, but also be able to author the fact that we as a collective, as the MLB, whatever it may be, the NHL, whatever, as we implement the replay rule for us to be able to see what happened, because there's so many bang bang plays. But what I'm noticing that instead of us using that and saying that there's the human element of this, the human element of this is we can be wrong. You're basically saying, hey, we're just going to go out on the limb with this because that's perfectly fine. We're going to just go out on a limb and we're going to stick with the call made, because in this instance, the call that was made is more important than the game itself, because we want to protect our officials, our umpires, or whatever it is. You don't protect them. You protect the sport. You protect the integrity of the game. If there's a call that's wrong, just call it wrong. It don't have to be a big deal. It's okay. We're going to get things wrong. It's okay. He thought he saw what he thought he saw. The thing is, fans are going to be critical about it regardless. So instead of you sitting here worrying about what the fans think about it, how about we just worry about getting the call right and you let the fans be the fans?
Right. If Rob Manfred, if this is what it takes, there's no shame in saying we tried it, it didn't work, we're gonna move on. But
correct.
Fix it.
Tyrell, do you have? Sorry, did you have anything else that you wanted to add, Cat 5?
No, that's it.
Ty, do you have anything else you want to add, bro?
Man, testify, amen. I put like all my money in the offering plate, and did a happy shout.
So, Jorge, I'm gonna let you close this segment out for yourself. Did you have anything else you want to add, man?
Yeah, man. I mean, we got to stop letting get pride in the way. You know what I mean? You got something wrong. If something called wrong, make it right. I got another one I want to bring up, just because, it happened before this. This was on April 8th. It included the Mets. It was the Mets and the Marlins. It was actually the bases loaded in, I think, the 9th inning or the 10th inning, something like that. And one of the batters was up named Michael Conforto. It was a one ball, 2 strike count. The the pitcher threw up a high and in fastball. So the umpire was going to call it a strike. Conforto basically stuck out his elbow, put out his elbow, didn't make an attempt to get out of the way, and got hit with the ball right here on his elbow. So the umpire called it a hit by pitch, which in baseball there's a rule that you have to make an attempt to get out of the way, and you can't be in the middle of a strike zone while getting hit, or otherwise it's a strike. So what wound up happening is he called it a hit by pitch. The guy went to first, and the scoring run came in because the bases were loaded. So they went to review it. What did the umpire tell Don Mattingly, that was the manager of the Marlins? He said, okay, you want us to review that he got hit by a pitch? We can review that. But we can't review that he didn't attempt to get out of the way, or that he stuck his elbow out. So what's the point of reviewing it? What's the point of having a replay? Like, so you're going to tell me that, yeah, he got hit and that's it. Like, that's the end of the game. Come on. Let's do better than that.
These are the things that we have to, that we hate and we love about sports. But this is the controversy that we see every week. We're going to have things like this happen. Unfortunately, with this, we just got to be honest with ourselves. Things like this that are happening, things like these that happen, we just got to start to say, you know what? This is all happening for a reason. And we need to fix these things up front. The reason why the replay rule is happening the way it's happening is because now you want to make the game a little shorter. Listen, we cannot, if you love baseball, you're going to stay there regardless. Mm-hmm. If you don't like baseball, you're going to wait till the 7th, 8th, 9th inning anyway to watch the game. So don't try to change the time frame of the game. Simply make sure that you understand that if there are lovers of the game, the time that you're going to get people who don't love the game the most, the hunt for October and during the playoffs. That's when it's on every major network. That's when it matters to everybody else. Nobody keeps up with the regular season. It's too damn long unless you love the sport. Now, with that being said, let's go on to pressing. Let's go to less our lighter issues and lighter things in the world. Jorge, I'm gonna let you take it away from there.
So what I wanted to leave for last is our top 5, because I want to have a little bit of an argument. So I want to touch on with Ty. Hey, Ty, I'm gonna name you my biggest disappointment in the AL, and then I want you to name me your biggest disappointment. So my biggest disappointment as far as team goes so far in this year is the Oakland A's. All three, well, most of us, including Dennis, I think we picked Oakland A's to finish in the top 3 in that AL West, because the AL West isn't that great outside of those 3 teams, which is the Astros, Oakland A's, and the Angels. So far, man, they started out the season 1-7, which is horrible. They've won their last 4, but they've got swept by the Stros in the 4-game sweep in the beginning of the year, and they lost 2 of 3 to the Dodgers. To be a playoff team, you have to beat playoff teams. Isn't that what we always talk about, guys? Mm-hmm. And they obviously didn't do that. And to let you guys know how bad that they are right now, their run differential is -26. So they've scored 26 less runs in the season. And in their 12 games that they've played so far, they've scored 3 runs or less. 3 runs or less. That's horrible. And so far, they're 1-6 at home. And if you don't win at home, you're not going to get in the playoffs. It's not going to happen. Ty, who do you got as your AL team, man?
So I want to agree with you, but just for the sake of, I have to call this team out. I can't say the A's. Minnesota Twins, stand up and take the walk of shame. Like, what is going on with the Twins, thus far to where they're playing this bad of baseball? I mean, giving up 15 runs to the Tigers. I'm putting up 15 runs against the Tigers and then losing, to the Brewers, you're losing to the Mariners. Like, what do you want to do? It's like one game you want to play well and the next you're just trash. So I don't get it. The Brewers, that was supposed to be a gimme, I thought. the Mariners, definitely, something that you should have lost 2 games to the Mariners and split with the Mariners. Who are the Mariners? At least right now. So
right now, currently, y'all, the Mariners are at the top of the AL West at 8-5. In fact,
because those wins are coming to get the Twins.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As much as we talk about the Stros, they're at 500.
And I think they're
on a 5-game losing streak.
Yep.
You mean as much as you talk about the Stros?
Slow down, because it could go down. No, but the biggest thing that I've noticed that the same thing. The Astros have the same problem. When the Astros lose, what is normally the problem? It's not that they're not hitting; they're getting 9-10 hits a night. It seems like it's just they're not driving in runs.
Yep, runners left on base.
I've seen a situation with a first and third with no outs, and the guy steals the base, and we're on second and third with no outs, and we get guys that do dumb stuff. I don't know. Swinging at bad pitches, we're getting called looking. That's the whole thing. But the team I really want to talk about here that is probably the most disappointing. I'm gonna keep it in the AL first. My most disappointing team is the Rays. I don't know what the hell y'all doing. Y'all let the Yankees beat y'all in extra innings, which, Jorge, it took the Yankees to beat them in extra innings. This is pathetic.
I hope Vic is watching this.
Oh, God.
Way they beat him.
This is pathetic. It's pathetic. But I'm just looking at this team and I'm just like, so much talent. So much talent. I know you lost, some key guys in your rotation, but I felt like this would be one of those teams that could take the hit and be able to still continue to keep going. So moving forward, that'll be my disappointing team. Can I start with the NL disappointing team?
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, Chicago Cubs. Why are you even in the league?
Eddie, this is for you, man.
This ain't for you, Eddie. You don't want to listen to this. What are y'all doing? Y'all they can't score. They can't hit. They can't defend. They can't do nothing.
Oh.
The Cubs are probably the most pathetic team in the majors.
Woo.
They are the most pathetic team right now in the majors. Even with them being 5-7 and there being teams that are below them, I just do not like the way the Cubs are playing right now currently. They need to fix this. I want y'all to understand something. If the Cubs were in the AL right now, the Cubs will probably be right there in a situation where they would be right with the bottom feeder teams. The only reason why they're not at the bottom of the NL is because the Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and the Nationals all have won 3 or 4 games.
And that's all teams that we expect to be there.
Correct. We expected these to be seller teams.
Well, maybe except the Nationals, because I don't think the
Nationals will be fine. They have to pitch it. They have the pitching to do it. They just have to hit.
Yeah.
I said this would happen, though. I said I didn't expect anything from the Nationals, so I called that one out.
I mean, you can call that all you want, but I mean, ugh.
See, I'm not even disappointed. It's just that after 6 or 7 years of doing Cubs things again.
Well, there we go. Now, there we have it.
There you go.
So, Jorge, who is your disappointed team in the NL?
Mine, you just hit on it, the Nationals, man. I'm just saying the Nationals because they're pitching and, their bats are what they are, but they still have Juan Soto. They still have Trey Turner. They still have some bats and some people that can score runs. Right now, they're 3-6. I mean, their first series got postponed because of COVID. Did that affect them? I don't know, but I mean, can you really make that excuse anymore? Because so many games are being postponed because of COVID or series postponed because of COVID. I mean, everybody has to deal with it now, right? They're -12 in run differential. They're 1-2 at home. They started losing 2 of 3 in Atlanta, and then they got swept by the Dodgers in a 3-game series, and they were shut out twice in that series. In 3 games, they were shut out twice. So that goes to show you about those bats. If those bats don't wake up, Doesn't matter how good the pitching is, it's just not going to happen. And just to let you guys know, out of the 9 games that they played so far, they've been shut out twice, 3 times. 3 times. So what do we say in baseball? You hit 300, you're a Hall of Famer.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna make like a horrible record this year. They keep going like that. You know, they're gonna lose. I mean, they're on pace to like what? Lose over 100 games. That's, you don't want to be on that list.
Absolutely. Ty, who is your most disappointing team in the NL?
So allow myself to be funny and reintroduce myself as the Hater of the Year award right now. So give me the whole NL East division. Just disappointing all around. So I just want to say, I know there's, there's several teams. That's not one. I know I'm not listening, but this is my ignorant hour. So damn it, I'm gonna be ignorant. NL East division is trash, playing like trash. I will love it if the NL West comes through and wreck shop like we've been doing, with like Jorge said with the Dodgers.
You're breaking up there, Ty.
Sorry about that, but definitely I will say this. You guys are spot on with the Cubs and the Nationals. If I have to pick one team, I'm going with the Nationals just for everything like Jorge said. It's true. You still have talent. Yes, the Cubs have talent too, but the Nationals with their talent that they have, like, you should be doing better. So I'm going to say the Nationals. But if I could, I'd take the whole NL East.
No,
it's the pitching.
No,
it's the pitching for me though. For the Nationals, the Nationals definitely have the pitching. They definitely have the guys in the rotation to make this interesting and intriguing. That's why it's the most harmful to me. And then Trav agrees. He said that's why your signal bad, Ty, because you're trying to be ignorant. So I agree with him. Maybe he got the internet thing that Vic had when he got the thing with the hamster on the wheel. But nah, he's driving through, he's weaving through traffic. So that's why his camera's not on. We promote safe driving. Here
hands free, everybody. Hands free.
And yes. So now, with all of that being said, Jorge, let's get into it, man. Let's go at it. Let's go for it. I challenge the guys to come up with 5 hitters.
National League team.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Cat 5. Go ahead. I don't know if you want to get in on that part. Go ahead.
Good. Yeah, man. I'm sticking with the NL East, but not the whole division. Washington you can't use COVID as an excuse. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Last year was a short year, but the Marlins got in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, but my biggest disappointment so far is going to be the Braves, simply because I do still think they're a top 5-6 team, and no excuse to be in 4th place at any time in the season, in my opinion.
That's a good point, Storms, and let's talk about that a little bit before we switch topics. COVID affected the Marlins last year more than any other team. I think they canceled like 3 or 4 series, I want to say, and they had to play
14 games or something
like that, and they had to play like 5 or 6 doubleheaders. That's crazy. And then for them to make the playoffs, and they had to make like over 40 roster moves.
Yeah, if they can be sick and have a heavier workload and get in, then the Nationals have no excuse.
Facts. And the Nationals only got 1 series in the beginning of the year that was canceled against the Mets, and then the first game of the Atlanta series. So
Trav, are you listening? Say this again louder for Trav in the back. Make sure he hears this.
Also, I want to point out as far as the Nationals go, that I'm disappointed anytime they don't make the playoffs, because they have always had the pitching.
Yeah. And at the end of the day,
I don't even count them anymore.
At the end of the day, we talk a lot about it. What gets you there is the pitching. What wins it? The pitching. In October, the pitching is what wins it. It's not necessarily the bats, it's the pitching.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing I'll say. when I look at a team, the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at your pitching staff because I think that is the most instrumental part of the whole game. I mean, if you don't got relievers, then we no matter how good your starters are, if you don't have any relievers, no matter how this goes or this goes, if you don't have this, if you don't have this, just so many different things that goes into it, man. It's rough. It's definitely rough. So before we wrap up, is there anything else anybody would like to add to this before we get into this very, very intriguing topic?
Yeah. Go ahead, Storms. I'll go after you.
I was gonna say just that given, and you're right, the bullpen is very important. But that being said, given the amount of quality pitching that they've had in their rotation the last 10 years, it is a travesty they have one ring.
Yeah.
Remember this, Strasburg was the number 1 overall pick, and he's lived up to that hype at least. That's not including all of the other guys that they've had that have either developed or that they got at free agency or whatever the case may have been. So to only have 1 ring in that time frame is more of a testament to the fact that you haven't had the bats that you need, or that you really have just never put it together.
I can sum up their problem in one short sentence. It's not the entire problem, but it's symbolic of what's going what they're doing wrong.
And go ahead.
Ryan Zimmerman is still on the roster.
Well,
good point. And let's mention this: the year that they won the World Series was the year after they got rid of Bryce Harper.
Mm-hmm.
So that was part of the issue as well. And let me say this last thing. Hey Ty, I can't wait till we beat LA and we sweep them. Next topic.
Well. Now, with that being said, I asked these guys. I said, "Hey guys, let's come up with 5 hitters that we feel are the best hitters in baseball." Now, the category, we did not discuss the category, but how I put together with things in general is I always ask myself this. In baseball, you got guys that hits for average. In baseball, you have guys that hits for home runs. But also in baseball, you have the guys that can do both. Like one of the guys on this list that is on everybody's list. I just think that this list should be compiled of the most dangerous guys that start a rally or guys that finish a rally. When I say start a rally, that means the guy that can get the single, that can get on base, and that can also dictate what happens with the pitcher. Because with him being on first base, they know that if there's any gapper hit, he's gonna score. In 1-run games, those are the worst type of guys. So I mean, even Trav knew who it was one of the guys right away. We all know who Mike Trout is. In my opinion, he's the most dangerous. He is the most dominant hitter in professional sports today in baseball. And I don't really think there's really a question. When it comes down to it, you talk about a guy who can hit 30 to 50 home runs in a season, but not only that, he can get you 20 to 30 stolen bases. Not only that, he can score 100 runs in a season, too, if the people behind him are hitting. This is a dangerous, dangerous player. Every time he steps to the plate, there is something at stake, whether it be a lead extending or a lead getting shorter. Every time he comes to the plate. So, Jorge, let's go to you and let's talk about more about how we constructed these lists. Let's talk about this. Let's ease the people into this.
Yeah, I just wanted to, before I got there, one of the comments is someone named Jarrell here on YouTube wanted us to say hi to him. Hi, Jarrell. I don't know who you're directing your hi to, so I'm just going to say hi because I saw your comment. So the way I did it is just the same way you did. I think these guys that I have on my list is someone that can start the rally, meaning if they're down 3 runs, get the team fired up, and they'll either tie the game or win the game, or can finish the game. I think that for me is a dangerous hitter. That for me is a hitter that can be in any situation, any count, and can either hit you a home run when the game's tied 2-2 in the ninth, or can get on base and be that tying run to go into extra innings. You know, that's what I think as far as a dangerous hitter, not someone that's just going to hit home runs and also strike out 200 times. That isn't dangerous to me, because that for me is a 50-50 chance. You know, that's what that is. And like you were talking, man, if somebody on this panel doesn't have Trout as one, or doesn't necessarily not one, whatever on your list, something's wrong. He's just the best player in baseball, and there's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. It is what it is. He's been voted top 5. He's been voted top 5. He's been voted in the top 5 for 9 years in a row. There's a reason for that. You know, you're not voted in the top 5 for that long. I'm gonna name one on my list. It's not necessarily saying he's 2, but I want to give you who else I put on my list. Give you guys a preview. The next person I put on my list, he's not 2, he's not 3, he's not 4, but I know you're gonna be happy with this, Germ. Altuve. He's been doing it for 11 years. 11 years, and the you know, people forget he was on the last year that the Astros were in the NL. He only averages 83 strikeouts a year, so you know that man knows his strike zone. He averages over 200 hits a year. Yeah, he only hits 17 home runs, but he hits 39 doubles and 3 triples. He doesn't walk a lot. He only averages about 83, but his yearly batting average is 311, meaning that's what he's averaged over 11 years, 311. So you're telling me that he has a chance to get on base or win the game, and he's going to come through generally about 1 every 3 times. What have we said? 1 out of 3 times his baseball is a
Hall of Famer.
Thank you. That's one of my guys.
Where's Ty at? Because you know what? We were talking about this yesterday. I said, say what y'all want, but Altuve has to be in a discussion because of what he does at the plate. You don't find a lot of guys that hit 300, but then they can also hit for power.
Yep.
I really want to throw. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No. Come on in. Because Storms, you were here when I said this as well. Altuve is hard to go against because the things he does for that team. He's the engine for that lineup. If he's on fire and everybody else is hitting, oh my God, you can't beat that. You can't beat them. It feels like.
Yep.
I really want to throw a trash can reference out there, but I can't because 2017 he struck out more than any other year in his career. So
he did, which is saying a lot. you know,
I mean, maybe it's because he knew what pitches were coming, so he was swinging extra hard. I mean, you laugh, but what is one of the first things they teach you about hitting? Don't swing as hard as you can. You're going to miss.
Yeah. And your eye will go directly off the ball if you swing as hard as you can.
So, I mean, Altuve being on that list, Storms, I'm going to actually get you in. And then we're going to go to Ty. And shouts out to Jarrell in the comments. That's Ty's people. Ty, your boys in the comments, tell him to keep on coming through.
Yep.
We love to have him. And of course, if he has a sport of his choice, he is always allowed to come on as this tardy person gets ready to join our live here. Mr. King himself will be here in about a couple seconds because I'm about to talk real bad about him in a second. Mr. King.
I'm just getting my Altuve speech ready. That's all. So I'm in the background just waiting for my time to shine.
Mr. King.
I'm excited.
Yes.
You are Lego. Yeah, you Lagos, all right. Now, anyway, with that being said, we have started off this list with Trout just for your update, sir, for your tardiness. And we are talking about Jose Altuve as well here. And I'm going to go to Ty, and then I'm going to come back to you and here in a second. 5, did you have anything else that you wanted to add on Altuve, or what were your thoughts on Altuve?
Nothing that hadn't already been said, man. He's just been one of the best hitters in the game for a long time, and he deserves to be on the list.
Okay. Ty, let's hear it. Let's go.
All right. So contrary to popular belief, first of all, the midget did make my list, and I will say why.
Oh, I'm surprised. Hold up.
Hey, objective
gonna lie, I'm
tie.
surprised,
Objective tie.
For real.
I was surprised myself, and the reason why he went, on my list, because taking my obvious bias aside, with feared hitters, there's two things you have to factor and consider. Of course, the fear as far as he's going to do something great, oh my God, and just being afraid of as far as the power or definitive swing or a defining moment, right? But let's factor somebody you really can't stand. I can't stand Altuve. Why? Because he is that good. That's my problem. When you can't stand a player because they're that good, it's because they're great. Give them their props, even if you don't like them. This is word to Trav with his Roger Clemens issues. You may not like the guy, but you got to give him his respect. So the midget gets it. Even if there's trash cans involved, he's been so consistent over a longer year. There's names that I wanted to put over him, but they don't have the body of work, the consistency, the numbers, and also just that I can't stand this player coming up to the plate energy. And that's that energy. Just for like people who can't stand Barry Bonds, not saying he's Barry Bonds or any of the great names in the 90s. When Altuve comes up to the plate, you either love him or you hate him. And that's a great player.
Mr. King.
I think you're that mad because he's taller than you. Is he taller than you?
Yo, that's crazy. Hey, Mr. King, I'm gonna open up the floor for you for your Altuve objections or appraisals.
You said top 10. Well, we gotta admit, man, over the past, I mean, last year, I forgot what he did last year. I know the year before that he was kind of hurt, but before that, didn't he have like 3-4 seasons of batting over 330?
Who, Altuve?
Yeah.
I think he did. I think he did because that rounds out his average to around that 311 that we were talking about.
Yeah, he had like 3-4 seasons, man. Like this dude he hit everything.
Okay, I got it right here.
I'll tell you right now. In 2014, he hit 341.
Oh my God, that's stupid.
Yeah. In 2016, he hit 338, and in 2017, he hit 346.
Hey man, that's dumb. That's stupid.
That's stupid. 2017.
And his highest strikeout any year was 2013 with 85. So he's never struck out over 100 times a year. Never.
Wow.
So for a guy that gets 200 hits, so but then you say he averages 83 walks, but he averages 83 strikeouts. So so basically his strikeout to walk ratio is the same, but then he bats 300, 311. That's stupid. That's retarded.
That's I mean, if we're being honest, if you just lower the strikeouts a little bit more, that's Tony Gwynnish.
Yeah.
Let's say what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
So bottom line, if a dude can steal a championship, not apologize, and still get love, you know he's good.
Yeah.
Hey, so real quick, here's something else. Shouts out to the comments again. Jarrell Ty's guy. He said, "What about Judge? Judge is a guy you may fear in situations, but Judge isn't a guy that you're gonna fear consistently throughout the game.
Hit him with some curve, move and get him all the time.
You know." So Dennis. Now I get to pick on Dennis. So Dennis, who is one of the guys that you brought to the list?
Well, in the group you saw, I was just throwing some guys out there, but I'm impressed with this young guy, Ronald Acuna, man. I am impressed with that young guy. I'm sorry. I know he hasn't had the longevity of some of these other guys, and we know Trout probably the best player, ever, but man, Acuna, my God, man.
He's that good. I mean,
like this year, he's already batting 400 this year so far.
Man, he's on a stretch to where he yesterday I saw a stat. He was 19 for his last 34, and 19 of those hits were seven home runs, I think, or
Yeah.
6 home runs.
Yeah,
So today's
Yeah.
game then makes him 19 for his last 35 or 39 with 8 home runs.
Oh,
All right, so this is what we have just for today. He did homer today and everything like that. His slugging percentage is at 1.000.
My
His
God.
OPS is at 1.492. And he is currently hitting, his on-base percentage is 0.492 to go along with a 0.442 average currently.
Let me get my Vic Jr. on. That is disgusting.
Hey,
That's in like 58.
Yo,
In 58
yo.
that means he has like 23 hits.
Yeah.
Or like 50 at bats, he has like
so
20.
his OPS is like 1.500. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was about to say, don't apologize, Dennis. I got him at 2 right now.
Okay.
I'm not mad at him. The only thing I'll say about him is
when we had this conversation, we try to go with guys with the track record who've been doing it, but when the guy is playing like this,
Let me tell you this. I have two people on my list, and Acuna being one of them, that is probably going to go down as one of the best to ever do it in their position. And
Wow.
I have another young one, and I'm going to go with Acuna. Keep going with what you guys are talking about, okay?
hey,
So-
Trav, shouts out to your guy. He hotter than fish grease right now. He ain't missing. Look. And this goes out, shout out to Westrick and everybody else. This goes to why I said what I said about having an NL style lineup.
right.
Having a guy like Acuna you can put at any point in your lineup and so many different plays. Matt, now you put him in that lineup that I put with all those people together, and you start looking at some of these people, and you looking like, well, Germ don't look so crazy now. Y'all will get that later. We'll reveal that later.
Yeah,
I love it when people prove me right.
21 for 47 is a hell of a start, man.
21 for 47.
That's how, yeah.
Whew. Yeah,
So-
like I said, he's at 4.42 right now. It's crazy, man.
So
He had 2 hits, 2 runs, and 2 RBIs today and 5 at bats.
Yeah, he's up to 447 now because of that.
Oh my God, man.
So this is, just to let y'all know, this is only his 4th year in the league. 4th. And
2 silver sluggers.
and he already has a 30 for 30 year, which is in 2019, his 2nd year. He had 37 stolen bases and 41 home runs.
And you project
You said how many home?
162 last
Wait,
year,
what?
he's done it again.
41 home runs and 37 stolen bases in his 2nd year. And last year was his 3rd year, but we know it was a COVID year.
Who we
So-
talking about? I still
Acuna.
Oh, yeah, Acuna, yeah.
Can I
So
just say
let-
one thing to piss Trav off real quick? Can I throw a chair real quick?
Always.
I have to throw a chair because I love it. I love this. And Trav is going to hate me for this, but I had to say it. How did he do in that NLCS? Trav, you remember? You remember what was his batting average in that NLCS?
Oh, man.
Let me remind you. Let me remind you and rewind back. You know how awful Acuna was in that NLCS. Batting average of 167. Ooh, no home runs, 1 RBI, 4 hits, like at 24 at bats. Ooh.
See, this what makes it worse for you and Kershaw, because when you do stuff like that, that's your opportunity to jump back at him. But then if I just really hope that Kershaw shows up in the postseason this year after a full season and plays well, because Trav is going to be on you so hard, and I'm going to let him join, and I'm going to let him bother you.
I had that in my spirit. Like Trav, you know, it's all love between us with a side of hate. You got to take the side of hate with it. So there's my haterade to compliment your dish.
Hey, Trav said, y'all making me so happy talking about my boy. All right, let's end this conversation. Next.
Yo, actually, I got one more thing to add on it.
Yes.
So I just did some math. Dude played 46 games last year, hit 14 home runs, and stole 8 bases. If you extrapolate that to 162 games, that's 50 home runs and 29 stolen bases.
Sick.
Another 30 for 30 and 30 year.
Sick.
That's crazy. And that's your leadoff hitter.
Yeah,
That's a leadoff hitter.
He
yeah.
can hit lead off. He can hit first, second.
Third,
He's getting to the point where he can maybe even hit third.
You can hit wherever you damn want. I don't care.
Pretty much.
So with that being said, so Ty, who is a guy on your list that you put there, and we're gonna go around with those.
Okay, so I had to show love to somebody who's tearing it up right now, but has been doing it quietly for a while. JD Martinez from the Boston Red Sox. Like when he comes up to the plate, man, I'm like, he's about to do something. Just something spectacular, something crazy, or he's just gonna do what he's supposed to do. And driving a run with a single or a double. Man, that guy's been doing it for years. Crazy talented, crazy numbers. Just if you don't know JD Martinez, you don't know baseball, and you don't know one of the best hitters in the game.
He's dangerous all around, man. He averages a 291 batting average, 35 home runs, 108 RBIs. He only, for a guy that hits home runs and gets so many RBIs, he strikes out about 163 times a year, which isn't that bad. And his runs, meaning he scores 91 runs on average per year and 176 hits. JD Martinez is on another planet, and I don't understand how Boston continues to get these DH hitters that are just so clutch and so good. Big Papi left, and it looked like JD Martinez just took over. He's a player that's been doing it now for 11 years, and he's right. He's been doing it for a while, and he's posting these numbers constantly. The other day, I think it was maybe Saturday, I want to say, he had a three home run game in Baltimore.
Yep,
sure did. And three home runs, and I think he drove in 7 RBIs, something like that. That's crazy, man. And he does it year in and year out. Doesn't matter what team he's on. He's that good of a hitter.
Yep.
Just to say this, he didn't play today, and the Red Sox lost by 1 run. But I just listen. I can't say anything negative about JD Martinez. We talked about him extensively. We have had a lot of things that we've just talked about in particular with this guy. But we're talking about a guy right now currently who's hitting 380 to 378 as a DH. On base percentage is a 4.4. The slugging percentage is 0.867, and the OPS is 1.307. So I mean, you're talking about a guy who is in that category of a Mike Trout. He just doesn't do it on the bases like Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got runners on base, you want this guy.
Yep.
Oh yeah, man. Martinez, he's that guy, man. You don't even have to look at his stats. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to watch him all year. And by the end of the year, he's going to be there with, 38, 35, almost 40 homers, 100 RBIs. He's always there. Just consistent, man. Consistent.
Yeah. And he's been that way for 11 years. That's how he's going to be.
Even if he starts off slow, at the end of the year, he'd be where he need to be.
Yep.
So who else do we have here on the list? We have named 4 people. We got 1 more.
You want to go ahead, Dennis?
Actually, I want everybody to give one because I actually, to be honest with you, I really this list was a little harder for me because I really was like trying to account for a lot of things. I wrote down a lot of names.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm trying to compile the list. It's just like, yo, I can't take my midget off of here. Another guy that I think is a very good hitter, Michael Brantley, is another great hitter in that Stros lineup.
Yep.
In the Dodgers lineup, we talk about Mookie Betts. I talked about Corey Seager the whole year last year. Still Freddie Freeman, a Brave. Even though he's not playing very well right now, when Freddie gets going, it's a problem.
He'll be where you need him to be at the end of the year.
He'll be around 300, right around that 300, 315 range. And he's going to give you between 80 to 100 RBIs. And he's going to be consistent. It's one of those situations. So that's just to name a couple of guys there. But Jorge, give me your fifth guy. I'm going to come around the horn and get the fifth guy before we wrap up the show.
He's Freddie Freeman. He's always a slow starter for some weird reason. He's always like that. And he has an ugly ass swing too. Let me just get that in there. I don't know who to pick between the fifth guy, but I got two. I got one being DJ LeMahieu. He's a great hitter for a reason. He's the first player in modern history to win the batting title in both NL and AL. And listen to this batting average. Both years he won the batting title. In 2016 with the Rockies, he won it with a 348 average. And last year with the Yankees, even though it was a short year, 364 average. So his career batting average is a 305. And he averages 182 hits with 67 RBIs. My other one is Juan Soto. He's only 22 years old, people. 22. And his batting average is 2.98, 4 years in the league. He walks 118 times a year. 118 times a year. That means that his plate discipline is crazy for only being 22 years old. And he averages 36 home runs, 118 runs scored. And I mean, to be honest with you, he's putting up Trout numbers with Trout still being in the league. And that's amazing. What the kids doing?
You might want to skip me because you said my two.
Ty, do you have anybody?
Well, so while Dennis is gonna do that, I'm gonna like.
That's 2 hours gonna say, man. I'm sorry.
So I wanted to say Soto, but he's too young. I wanted to say Seager, too young. And I had to, give props. First, my first name is going to be Christian Yelich. I have to. You forget that it was only a few seasons ago he almost pulled off the Triple Crown. That's insane. Anybody can do that. And think of all of like the Triple Crown winners that we have in baseball. All of them have been just great players. Even though you made a tribute to like a hot season, still to do that, 162 games and lead the league in pretty much everything major. Yeah. For the bats wise, that's somebody, I have to give props to. But category is going to love me for this one. I had to really think about it and go back to the numbers. But Joey Votto, he's definitely one of those guys, like when he comes to the plate, can just destroy you. Career batting average, he's a 300 guy. On base percentage, crazy. I mean, and he's, like I said, longevity. So while there's a lot of young bats that are up and coming, let's see if they're doing it after year 5. If they're still doing it big, and make sure you're not striking out as much. Make sure you're driving in those runs, being clutch, and I'll give you a respect. But those are my two guys that I wanted to name.
Okay. Let's have some fun here before we wrap up here. I want to talk about something real quick here with this list. Excuse me. Trav said Jose Abreu.
No.
So
Now, here's my thing. I'm gonna let you go right after this. Are we talking about Jose Abreu because He won AL MVP last year. Or are we talking about Jose Abreu because of his body of work? Category, go ahead.
Well, we talked a little bit about Abreu last night. The thing that really eliminates him from this conversation for me is that body of work, because he had a great year last year in a short season.
For a third of the games.
Right. But you go back the entire rest of his career, he has one season under 119 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Yep. I
That
think I brought that
eliminates
up
him
last
right
night
there.
when we were talking. Yeah.
That and he only has out of his
100 RBIs, right?
What's that?
he's had over 100 RBIs, but didn't hit 100 RBIs in 2018. I'm more concerned about his batting average.
Yeah, that batting average, it fluctuates.
Yeah, he only hit over 300 in 8 of his years, only 3.
Yeah.
So
Here's another thing that's kind of telling for me. You got a guy who's striking out a pretty decent amount, but he's also only drawn, on average 36, 37 walks a year. That
Yeah.
means,
Yep.
what does that tell you? That means pitchers don't fear him.
That's the other piece of the puzzle right there.
yep.
Yeah.
You got to understand, to fear somebody is not to know that you're going to give up a home run. To fear somebody is know that you got to execute your pitches because you don't want to give up a hit to start a rally. Because, like we talk about it all the time. Yeah, the home run is cute, is wonderful. Everybody loves it, just like the 3-pointer in basketball. But if that's your only trick, you're not going to make it for a long career. And if you do, it's few and far between, and you have to be better than just hitting a home run. These players that we named are on this list for a reason, because not only do they hit home runs, they're basically, like, if you think about who we put on this list, they're a firecracker for the team, and they get, let's say the team amped up over a hit, over a double, and the team goes as they go. So it's more to it than just a home run. You're not gonna tie a 3-1 game with the solo home run, meaning getting one run. That's not gonna happen.
My fault, Jorge. I thought you were done. I agree with everything you said, but are you calling him Kyle Korver?
Who?
Abreu.
Yeah,
Man.
he's in this, man. I be tired of
That
knocking
was
on
good.
this.
But
I be tired of knocking on this.
it's, like, in all seriousness, in baseball, it's the hardest thing to do to hit, 99-mile-per-hour fastball, and then hitting a curve, and then, just there's levels to this, and you just can't be good at, one-trick pony and do that and have them on your list. It's just not gonna happen. And then knowing that you, like I said earlier in the show, when you have a home run hitter up and he strikes out a lot, your percentage is 50-50. You're going to hit a home run or you're going to strike out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you want more than just a home run hitter at the plate.
Right. You're not a perfect example of that is you're never going to find Adam Dunn on any list of the most feared hitters.
Yeah.
So,
much.
but he also hit 40, 50 home runs every year.
Hey, Ty,
Yeah.
I like your take on the Cincinnati guy. I forgot to say that.
Votto.
Votto he's been one of the most consistent hitters over the years. Even I must admit these last like 2 years, because he is older now. But I mean, he will be one of them guys that will finish his career with a OPS over 1,000, right?
He should.
I
yeah.
believe so. Yeah. And I just wish he could have been more like Nelson Cruz, who, like, despite him getting older, can still do the damn thing.
Hey,
But
look at that. He didn't even mention Nelson Cruz. Look what he's doing this year.
So going to Votto, he hasn't hit 300 since 2017, but every year since 2007 to 2017, he hit 300, but 2008, which was his second year, which he hit 297.
Man,
That's crazy.
what the?
And then I
another-
look at Joey Votto's walks though.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
yeah.
Look how many times he gets walks.
Yeah, he gets walked like 111 times average on the year. But also going back to these last 4 years, including this year, because let's say if he doesn't hit 300, he still has a 3.303 batting average.
Wow.
Still.
Another thing I wanted to shout out with Votto, because I believe he deserves to be mentioned. I don't think he should be in anybody's top 5. He deserves an honorable mention. But one amazing stat that I know everybody's going to remember when I say it is he popped out in the infield for the first time in his entire career, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It took over 10,000 at bats and almost 28,000 pitches faced as a pro to pop out to the infield for the very first time.
When I heard that, I was like, dude, are you
Amazing.
kidding me?
Dude, that's like impossible. You can't even do that in a video game.
And something I've said and gotten some pushback on, but I will stand on it forever.
No, you're
To
right
this
though.
point-
They said it. They was like, that's the first time he ever popped out. I remember that. I remember it. And the fantasy guys were talking about it too.
Oh yeah. But this is something I will stand on forever. To this point, he is the hardest out in baseball since Barry Bonds.
Oh yeah. He gonna make it work.
Yeah.
He'll make you work.
So, with that being said, this is The Dish. We got The Dish Scene on Instagram, The Dish Scene on Twitter, and then, of course, The Dish is the Facebook group. Make sure you guys follow, like, share, tell a friend, do all of that good stuff. Next week, we got another show for you guys. This week, we may unleash the first ever Sunday night Dish show this Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. But with that being said, we got Dennis, we got Cat 5, Tyrell, Guru, Jern. Make sure you guys are tuned in. Like, share, subscribe. And of course, make sure you tuned in to all the other great shows we have here at The Scene. We'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.